from Detroit, Michigan, USA. In My House, hosted by Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played. Welcome to another episode of the In My House Techno Music Show. I am your host, Carlita, and this week we dig in the archives to show some love and share a spotlight on a Detroit homegrown talent. He has gone from dancing to producer to artist extraordinaire, whether he's working alongside with Sid Genius in the J&J Sound Factory or other multiple people who he's worked with over the years. When I first met him, we were doing the live broadcast at WHPR. I didn't even really know him at all, but he reached out and we connected. He came on the show, and over the years I've watched him and I've learned who he is as an artist, and he is very dedicated and very talented. And he's right here in Detroit. He's one of our own homegrown, Javonntte Garrett. Phenomenal person. You've seen him live on Facebook with all types of musical arrangements, and he's just dedicated to the craft. So today I'm just going to reach and show you some of the flashbacks from when I first met him and a few of the episodes that he's been on, and just let you get to know who this man is behind the keyboard, behind the drum, behind the guitar, behind the bass, behind the music. Javonntte Garrett is the spotlight artist for today. This is Carlita for the In My House Techno Music Show. Enjoy the show. You are In My House, hosted by Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played. All right, so look, let's start off with a formal introduction. You first.
Sydney Jordan.
In the mic.
Call me Sydney Jordan, aka Genius.
You're the J Genius too. That's the J part, and the next one.
Javonntte Garrett.
That's the other.
Detroit, Michigan.
Yay! What's up, Mr. J and J? I'm gonna say J and J because I'm not gonna remember your names properly, so I don't want to jack your names up. That wouldn't be cool. So welcome to the show, and thank you so much for coming and keeping up with me.
Oh, thank you for having us.
So let's talk about J&J Sound Factory. What is included in that unit here between the two of you?
Well, we do very different styles of dance music, and that's really what we umbrella our sound under J&J as far as the dance music goes. We do a lot of different genres of music, but we really have been having a big focus and a launch on dance music.
Okay, and let's get this part, make this part clear that you all are the producers, not DJs, because we have producers, DJs, and artists. So I like for the world to know that you are the makers of the music.
Yeah, we are the makers of the music.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we are the makers of the music. If we're not DJs, but if we have to, we will DJ.
Okay, cool. Just let's not rule that out.
But yeah, we get off to a lot of styles of house, techno, any kind of like experimental music, drum and bass, dubstep. I mean, today's house music is a little different from the 90s. The 90s house music was more so at an earlier time. It was less technology, so things were a little bit more scarce. Where now software, you could do a lot of things with the software that they have out now. Mm-hmm. So more so, besides the producing, you have to know your equipment now. You have to know what kind of software to get and what kind of sounds, because a lot of people are tending to mimic the 90s sounds. The TR-909 and the 808. So you have to know those things so you can, if you go to the store, you know what software to buy, and then you have to study what people are doing out here as well.
Right. And you know what? Let's talk about, and you guys now how long have you been doing this music? How many years? Okay, too long to remember. Okay.
We started doing dance music.
Give him the mic. Give him the mic. Give him the mic. Give him the mic.
Realistically, we started doing dance music, I'd say, in 1987.
Oh, okay. During the very like sort of like in the beginning of the beginning stages, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, actually, I was a DJ back early in the days, and then I really just transferred everything over to being a real musician,
Okay.
and that's really kind of was my focus. I think that was more like a high school type of gig for me, but I see it's really what's happening right now as of today as we're speaking. So it's really grown that whole DJ realm.
It has. Now let's kind of go back into, and you mentioned something over there. I'm calling you J1, J2, J2 over there. It depends on how I feel. You might be one or two later, but I just know y'all J's. That's thank God y'all both got the J's. That makes it a little bit easier for me. So listen, let's talk about. You had mentioned something about the '90s style,
Yes.
and software styling, and software wasn't something that they used back then.
No.
So how has technology back then and technology of today, how has that had an impact on you all staying relevant in the business? Like, what do you need to do to go from there to here but still stay there?
You know what? That's a very intelligent question, because
Alright.
it's that's one of the best questions that I've heard in a long time, because a lot of people they want to get off into producing, but to stay relevant, back then you bought a lot of hardware. That's basically what you bought, a lot of hardware. And hardware, it costs a lot of money, it comes and goes, it gets old fast. But software, you're able to upgrade like every month.
Right.
So back then the hardware was more, it was more expensive. We know
Yeah.
software now is $30,
Right.
$20.
Pirate.
Pirate. Bootleg. But the most beautiful thing about today's technology, I mean, you don't even have to really be a musician.
Right.
You don't even have to really be educated at music. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. It'll basically do everything for you. All you have to do is just know how to count. That's it.
The beats.
That's it.
Okay.
If you know how to count, you can sequence your music. If you can match your time, your BPMs up, you can basically, it's sky's the limit.
So let's talk about music a little bit. So the 90s, every decade has a style.
Sure.
70s was funk.
Yeah.
80s was hip hop, rap.
Yeah.
90s was dance. But somehow dance has always been involved in each one of those decades of music. And
Yes.
now here we are, 2000s.
Yes.
From when it started in the 80s and 90s,
Yes.
and here we are in the 2000s now. But how do you think, or what is your viewpoint on, again, there to here and still remaining there? Because a lot of times, they want to stay in the past but move forward, but they still want to hold on to it. So how do you think they're able to do that and stay relevant at the same time?
Well,
What was it about the 90s is why they want to stay in that genre of music? Because you hear stuff today, it sounds like that same music.
that's
Why is
another
that?
good intelligent question.
Why do they want to stay there and modernize it?
That's actually another good question. A lot of DJs and a lot of artists, they refer back to the 90s, because starting in 92, a lot of people used to go to St. Andrews. You had your hip hop on the middle floor, you had your house on the top floor. Those years were really good as far as creating.
Okay.
And there were a lot of creative people around. And the feeling of the music, people actually experimented more, and software was less. But to sum it up, the 90s music, it just had more of a feeling to it. People, they created more together, whereas today you don't need anybody to create.
Oh yeah.
I can sit your sons in a room and just say, hey, here's reasons. All you have to do is know how to count. Just, splice, cut and paste, and I can have them doing tracks in one day.
Right.
They wouldn't need a producer. They wouldn't need an engineer. All they would need is a laptop, programs, and just know how to count.
So with all this new technology, and back then, like you said, you had to have the band, you had to have rehearsals, you had to
Yeah.
do this and you had to do that.
Yeah.
So where do you think music is going to go? Electronic, techno, house. Where do you think is what shift do you think it's going to make?
I think it's going to do a couple of shifts at the same time. I think we are reverting backwards as far as keeping the same feeling. We're using some of the same methods, but I think we're going forward as far as experimenting and technology leaping forward. So I think we're going backwards and forwards at the same time. Where mentally we're going backwards because we want to keep that same feeling.
Okay.
So we're gonna keep the same methods, but we're gonna use it on modern day technology.
I got you.
And a lot of people, those two questions are very good questions because a lot of people really don't know that, and they don't know about 90s music in Detroit. And like I see a lot of people at clubs, and they're hustling, and they don't even know what the house song is.
Right.
And I'm like,
Right.
do you know who Masters at Work is?
No.
Or Barbara Tucker. You're hustling to it, but do you really know the history of house music and techno?
Right.
Like Frankie Knuckles just passed.
Exactly.
And people, they listen to his mixes and say, who is that? You're listening to it right now.
Right.
So, house music and techno is beginning to get more respect as far as history.
Right.
Because people thought it was just some party music and, underground club. But no, all of this stuff had a history.
Right.
Blake Baxter.
He was here 2 weeks ago.
I was on Blake's first label.
Wow.
Kevin Saunderson, Derek May, Juan Atkins, Mike Banks. Those are like the forefathers of this stuff. And, you have to sometimes educate people about the forefathers of techno and house music because it's important.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, if you go anywhere around the world, they know more about Detroit techno history than we do when we live here.
Yep.
If you go to New York, they know more about Mike Banks than you do.
Wow.
And they take it serious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guys in Europe, because I'm also a house dancer. So, when house dancers in Europe, Japan, they know more about UR and the history than we do.
They do. I did a Skype interview with Alexander Robotnik.
Okay.
And when I asked him about techno Detroit, specific techno house, first name come out, Underground Resistance.
Yeah.
UR. That's the first thing came out. UR.
Yes.
That was it.
I mean, and I had a privilege of dancing with Aretha Franklin for 8 years. I went on tour with her.
Oh, cool.
And I tried to explain to her about house and techno. So she was, she how Aretha is. Some things she listened to, some things she don't. But she did really listen to me when I explained the history to her. Mm-hmm. And it's like she respected it. But she didn't know.
Yeah, they don't.
No, she didn't know. So you have two histories now. You have Motown, and now it's Techtown.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
So
Techtroit. They call it. Yep.
So it's Detroit, Techtroit, and we used to have Motown. So for the kids in the 90s, they know the history of now.
Mm-hmm.
But for people, maybe back in the 60s and 70s, Motown. So
right.
We have two histories.
That's true. And it's really interesting because Detroit seems to be like the inventors of the world as we know it.
Yes.
We're capitals of
Yes.
we're the Motor City, we're
Yes.
the hair capital, we're the techno
Yes.
capital, we're even house.
Yes.
Chicago still, they get branded as house because I guess they want to give us both techno and house.
Yeah.
But I wonder why. What do you think it is about Detroit that makes us that foundation place? What is it about us? And that's something that, that's the purpose of this show, is document history, talk about it. So what is that?
I would say Detroit, Motown probably was a big start. Even a lot of these sounds, people might not even realize sometimes they're vibing, but they're still even vibing off old Motown, even if it's an updated dance sound or whatever. And I think that probably is really what progressed the roots of their music so heavily, influenced us. They had so many artists, great artists, and I'm sure that Motown realm is really what has pushed Detroit.
That's true. And a lot of that
musically.
stuff is sampled throughout everything, and every song has some, like you said, it has an element of
Yeah.
element in there because it's just part of the DNA of Detroit music, I guess. Wow. So let's kind of fast forward a little bit. I know that we had a magazine. I don't know, is this magazine is Rolling Out magazine still around?
Rolling Out is still around.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about the spread and Rolling Out. So how'd they find you guys, and what made that happen?
Rolling Out found. I came across a friend that she was really doing editing for them, and she was interested in having us in the magazine. You know, it shocked us at first because Rolling Out was basically out of Atlanta, but our sound is actually traveling, and we're starting to actually get that type of recognition right now. So we did the spread, it went well, and it's probably one of their first dance artists that they've had in that magazine.
I would have to agree. I would, because don't they do a lot of hip hop?
Yeah, they do a lot of hip hop, R&B.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So in that interview, and I always ask this question as an interviewer, if there was a question, like you guys have been interviewed by them and other people, what is the one question that you'd be like, damn, I wish they asked me that question because I've been dying to answer that. So what is the one question that you could think of that you just wish that an interviewer would ask you because you just dying to answer it? And if you don't know the answer, maybe the other Jay knows it. Put your heads together.
What type of question?
Let me see. Something's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Repeat that one more time.
Okay, so out of audience, let's use Rolling Out as an example, because that's a major interview that you guys have had, and you've had smaller ones too. But out of all the interviews that you've done, what is the one question that you sitting there, like me, I'm here interviewing you too. So what is the one question that, damn, I wish she would ask that question so I can answer it? I want this to be said.
Gotcha.
Aha, there it goes.
You know, I wish someone would ask what does it take to be just a good artist?
Bam, there it is. Okay, what does it take to be a good artist? Thank you very much.
Passion.
Okay.
And that's something that a lot of people don't have today. You know, in the 90s, even in the 80s, 70s, they had passion. People had, you know, they were more passionate for their music. You know, now it's a little different. Things are a little different because so many people are doing it. So the passion is going down, but more of the it's a fad for most people. If I get a hit record, buy a new car, get an apartment, you know, where's your passion at?
And work ethic too.
Work ethic, yes, definitely work ethic.
So hard to come by.
Oh yeah, I mean when we toured with Aretha, you know, we rehearsed every day. And people will come up to me, you think I can get a job? I said, you want to rehearse 13 hours a day? That's okay. That's cool. But we would rehearse all day.
Oh.
You know, I mean, every day. Hard work. So passion.
Every day, all day?
Every day, all day.
So there it is. I finally asked the question that you wanted asked. Hot dang, I feel special. So let's talk about today. What are you guys up to today? What's happening? What's happening in the J&J Sound Factory camp?
I just got interviewed for the Detroit International magazine.
Sweet.
Because we do jazz on the flip side.
Okay, cool.
We do a lot of jazz on the flip, a lot of R&B.
Cool.
So we're doing a lot of multiple projects, country, western, blues. Yeah, we do it all. Rock and roll.
Black folks do country? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we do.
I thought Darius Rucker was the only black country guy.
We do every genre of music. I mean, really, we do.
All right.
We did the Asian festival like 4 years ago. We did a Arabic hip hop project 3 years ago. So, you know, I mean, we went to music school too. So, you know, we know the music educational side of music as well as the, you know, the non-formal training part. So we do a lot of different things.
Okay.
A lot of different things. We dance.
So where do you dance at? You said a house dancer. What is a house dancer? I know jit. Is it jit?
You should go online. There's a crew. If you go on YouTube, type in serial dancers.
Serial? Spell that.
Serial steppers.
With a C or S?
It'll correct you when you just type in serial step.
Okay.
and they dance to house music, and you are
Oh.
going to be blown away.
Okay, y'all, don't leave the show yet. Y'all go to Serial Steppers after the show go off and find out what this is he's
Yes,
talking
you
about.
will be. And it's a guy named Capella. He's one of the top house dancers in the world.
Wow.
This guy's phenomenal. But they're doing this everywhere now.
Okay, that's good to know.
So check it out.
I'm going to. I'm going to. So and you guys have some new releases and things that you're working on as well too. So what are some of those?
We're currently working on a project together, and I'm releasing a jazz project next month. It's supposed to get picked up by Blue Note because they're starting to resurface again.
Don was.
Yeah.
He's resurrecting that label.
Yeah, Don was, and together we're gonna get together and do like a techno and house project, and probably get King Street to distribute it. They're out of New York.
Okay, so you guys work together and you work individually as well too.
Yes.
So now when you work separately, is it still all genres of music, or is one J more focused this way and the other one more focused this way, or is it still the same?
It's equal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, even separate, we work on everything.
Okay. So, Mr. J over here, what's going on in your world? What are you working on?
Well, right now, we've been in the studio and really put some really hot new dance mixes together. Realistically, I've been working on a rock project, and we've kind of been sitting on it almost a year. I've been just kind of recovering. I was in a bad car accident.
I know. Thank God that that's why, I'm so happy that you're okay.
Yeah. It was a little rough, and so we've been just kind of holding on to that project till we get our marketing back together, and I get healthy enough to get back out there on the road and really play that stuff.
Mm-hmm. So how can somebody reach you guys if they want to? Now you have a studio. Do you rent your studio space, or do you just kind of use the studio for your own personal?
Well, only for projects. Like if someone wanted to do maybe like a big project.
Okay.
We would definitely.
Depending on what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
So how can they reach you guys? What's your info?
Well, this man can tell you better.
That's fine. Hey, pass the mic back.
It's always easy to Google us, J2G Records. You can catch us through the record company.
Say that again a little bit slower.
The letter J, the number 2, the letter G Records. Javonntte Garrett Entertainment. You can easily reach out to us via the internet. We're really accessible, but not that accessible.
Trust me, I ain't never heard of y'all either until you found me. So hey, that's what's up. I know. I didn't never heard of y'all until just now, but I know you now. But still, I didn't know you found me. So it's like,
yeah.
Okay. And that it was funny because when you found me, I'm like, what do y'all really do? But it's cool. Here you are. And I didn't know that you guys were doing that kind of stuff. So I appreciate that. So listen, I'm getting ready to get off into one of your tracks here. And, I always do history research to find out who's coming on the show. And I found this song from off of, I think, your SoundCloud or something. I can't remember. But this is a R&B dance, I guess. It's called So Real. Can you just kind of segue me? We got 1 minute. Okay. Let's segue me into So Real, because that's what I'm getting ready to play. So where'd it come from? And just segue me into that, please.
So Real, we were working with the guy Mike Grant.
All right.
Pretty known DJ. And Mike Grant had challenged us. He said, man, you guys are always doing instrumentals. Why don't you do something with some vocals? Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, Sid, why don't we try to do something with a hook on it? Mm-hmm. Really focus on it.
Okay.
So we did it. He liked it. A lot of people liked it. We started putting it out. Basically, we had to experiment to get the track.
Okay.
The singing part.
All right. So, wow, that's interesting. So here is one of my favorites from you guys, and it's called So Real.
So Real.
And you heard it here live as soon as I hit the right button. And thank you guys for coming on the show, too. I guess I should say that as well before I kick y'all out of here. are In My House, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.
Welcome, Judge Mathis. Thanks for coming to share an important message with the Wayne County taxpayers. Well, thank you for allowing me to help. You know, most of my life I was a resident of Wayne County, and so I'm here to help because Treasurer Chabris wants to work with Wayne County homeowners to keep families in their homes and prevent foreclosure.
If you're having trouble making your property tax payments, let us know. We have many resources to help.
Take the first step towards staying in your home by going down to the Wayne County Treasurer's office on the 5th floor of the International Building in Greektown.
Stop by today to learn more about our payment plans and especially the newly extended interest rate reduction program.
Already in the payment plan? It's important you stay in good standing.
Making property tax payments is now easier than ever. We have placed payment kiosks in Rite Aid stores and community centers across the county. We've also added kiosks in our offices. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com.
Hair Wars is full of hair, but it's also loaded with music, techno, hip-hop, house, rock and roll, and hot funk and soul. This goes out to the foreign DJs and music producers and all the In My House supporters who will be in Detroit before the music festival. This Detroit experience may blow your hairy mind. Yes! Welcome to Hump the Grinder's Hair Wars, Sunday, May 17th. Hair stars and hot cars, featuring some of the greatest hair entertainers in the world, showcasing over 200 models wearing whippity-doo hooked-up hairdos while getting down to the surround sounds in Motown. Yeah, we get a little crazy at Hair Wars. The car capital and the hair capital coming together from 2 to 5 p.m. People will be outside taking pictures with the hot cars. Doors open at 5 p.m. to watch the big screen show, and Hair Wars goes live at 6:05. Come on! 2020 Detroit Hair Wars. Hair stars and hot cars, Sunday, May 17th at the Ford Community and Performing Arts Center on Michigan Avenue in Dearborn, Michigan. Cash bar, hot food, and free parking. Enjoy the hair, the models, the cars, and the music. It's entertainment, baby. Tickets on sale now at hairwarsustour.com. A Hump the Grinder production.
You are In My House, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.
Guess what? We are out the house again.
And we've got, the last time you were on the show, you were with J&J Sound Factory.
Yeah.
And now as I've begun to know you a little bit more, I think I really screwed your name up. Because I think I called you Javonntte or Javonntte. I can't remember what I called you.
Right.
That's why I just referred to Mr. J. So could you correct me, please? How the hell do you really say your name?
Javonntte Garrett.
Javonntte Garrett.
Javonntte
Okay.
Garrett.
The way it's spelled, I'm sure you struggled in school to get out of kindergarten to spell that, huh?
Well, actually in the 90s, I came up with that name.
Oh.
Because I was at a show, and a young lady came up to me after the show. She said, "What is your name? You were awesome on the keyboards." And I said, "Brian." And she said, "Brian, that's plain." So I said, let me come up with another name that fits the music. Something that's a little colorful.
Nice. Okay. I like it. And the curious, where'd that come from? Because you just...
It actually derives from the name Javier, which is Jupiter, which is Zeus.
Oh, see, Detroiters is so deep.
Yeah.
I swear. I'm glad I started off this show with some Jeff Mills. That was all in planetary motion.
Yeah.
So you were on the show, actually, the last time you were on the show was my first year. We were down at WHPR at the time. Shout out to RJ Watkins, still holding it down over there in Highland Park. And you were on with Sid Genius.
That's my brother.
And you guys are still working together, still collaborating too?
Yeah.
Good.
Doing a lot of a lot of rock and roll together.
Oh, I see.
A lot of blues and rock and roll.
Okay. So this particular episode is about you and what you're working on. So let's just kind of give me it's been, let me see, I'm in my 4th year now. So it's been 4 years since you've been on my show.
Yep.
So I know that a lot has happened. So can you give me an abbreviated resume, please?
Well, at the current moment, Mr. Kai Elsey from Indie ATL Records, he put me on his label. Music was doing okay, but he, I hooked up with him and he took it to a whole nother level. And then afterwards, he put out the record. It did really well. And from there on, I started working with cats like Patrick Scatz, which is Sistrum Records, Detroit-based. A lot of cats overseas like Jesus Gonzalez, Alexander.
You know it's Jesus.
Jesus. Thank you. Sorry.
Look, I screwed your name up, but we can't screw his name up.
Jesus, I'm sorry. So I've been working with a lot of labels, and it's been good. This is my first time really working with labels and deadlines, and I'm learning a lot. It's not just doing music; it's actually a format to the house music. A lot of people think it's just boom, 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 boom. No, it's not.
So you're getting more into the real deep-rooted technicalities that's involved, right?
Yeah.
So with knowing that, let's talk because you have been in this game for a long time, and so kind of like educate the up-and-comings on where that technicality comes in play, and how should they approach that?
Well, first of all, you should go out a lot to the clubs and listen to the music. That's one thing. A lot of people, dance music and house music is a sociable thing too. It's not like sitting home and you writing a song or a hip hop track. You have to get out and socialize, and you need to find someone that's actually on a label and learn from. Like Kyle C really taught me a lot about house music. A lot of things that I didn't know, when he started coming over, he showed me the actual arrangements.
Okay.
So you got to get with somebody that's a little bit on a higher level, and then they'll pull you up. So I think that would be my suggestion. What's funny is, after a while, when you start going to these clubs, whether it's gay clubs or straight clubs, after a while, people begin to know you.
Right.
Because, I've been to a lot of straight clubs, gay clubs, and after a while, I don't care who it is. I don't care if they're straight, gay, they'll be like, house producer, right?
Yeah.
I don't care, if it was a drag queen, if it's a straight man, I get the same response, house producer.
Nice.
After a while, everybody, they lock you in. And you have to be locked in. You can't, you can do a few things outside, but if this is what you're going to do, you have to research it, and you have to get out here and start mingling amongst people. This is definitely, I tell people, house music is definitely a sociable art. You have to socialize.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
It's definitely something dealing with multimedia. You're dealing with people every day.
Wow. So you've recently experienced some international things. So let's take a quick break and listen to a word from our Wayne County Treasurer, one of the show supporters. Let's take a listen to that, and on the flip side of that, we'll come right back. And let's get into your international journeys, because I think that's very important for people that are coming up to understand the process. I mean, you've been in it a long time.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a few years. So you are in my house, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.
Welcome, Judge Mathis. Thanks for coming to share an important message with the Wayne County taxpayers.
Well, thank you for allowing me to help. Most of my life I was a resident of Wayne County, and so I'm here to help because Treasurer Chabris wants to work with Wayne County homeowners to keep families in their homes and prevent foreclosure.
If you're having trouble making your property tax payments, let us know. We have many resources to help.
Take the first step towards staying in your home by going down to the Wayne County Treasurer's office on the 5th floor of the International Building in Greektown.
Stop by today to learn more about our payment plans, and especially the newly extended interest rate reduction program.
Already in a payment plan? It's important you stay in good standing.
Making property tax payments is now easier than ever. We have placed payment kiosks in Rite Aid stores and community centers across the county. We've also added kiosks in our offices. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com.
I remember on the last show we talked about your travels and your workings with Aretha Franklin.
Yes.
Can you share some of your experiences with her and how she kind of molded you, I guess you could say?
It was real. It was an experience in a good way. When we first started working for her, we thought, well, maybe, we were dancing for her. So we go to rehearsal and stuff. We didn't think anything about it, but when you really got in rehearsals with her, you were like, this is a job. You go there and be like, oh, dancing, I love dancing. You be excited.
Ish got real, huh?
It got real. And then, you sitting there and say, oh, this is fun. Then all of a sudden you be like, this is a job. Because we rehearse 16 hours a day,
Wow.
7 days a week.
Whoa.
And when you really, it was fun afterwards, but I was in the middle process of actually learning all the routines, and then out of nowhere I said, "This is a job." It became my job, and you learn the art of. She taught us actually the art of being sociable.
Okay.
No matter what art it is, you have to be sociable. Hi, how are you? Nice record. And another thing she taught us, always congratulate. If you see an artist, our number one problem, if we see someone that's really talented, we get a little intimidated. So she said, go up to them and say, nice record. So that's what I learned. Lady named Angela Tarrant just performed at the Motor City Winery. I'll say it, awesome. She's awesome.
Okay.
And when we see people that's really talented, besides ourselves, we should support them. That's the number one problem that we have, supporting other talent. And there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, that person's tight. I'm working with an artist now named Vince Heidelbergen, awesome house producer. So we need to do more of that too. And we learned that from Aretha, how to give other artists their praise and their credit.
You said something that support. Why is it that the house generation is not as prevalent in the techno world? They don't seem to be able to cross over so well.
Different mentality.
Okay.
There's a different mentality in techno. There's tech house, but as far as that, there's a different mentality in techno and house.
Okay.
As far as production, I had to learn that. I was on Blake Baxter's label. I was one of his first artists.
Okay.
And Blake was in the house, but he's mostly in the techno.
Right.
But he signed me, a house producer. And I learned from Blake what the difference was. And he told me, Blake used to say, dude, the difference between house and techno is that techno, it has a harder edge. It has a harder edge and more of a driver edge. House can derivative anywhere, but techno is really hard driven. That's the difference.
Okay.
One is more harder driven. Now, what we have to learn as an artist is to go places that we aren't appreciated. That's the next assignment as artists. You may shine over here, but sometimes you have to go places that you don't shine, so people can know you. Like I would go to the drum and bass parties. They would just look at me weird. But but I would go.
Go to the works. That's interesting.
Went there, they would look at me strange.
You're probably the oldest person in the room.
Yeah. But after a while, they begin to know your work.
It's all music and dance.
I had a guy come up to me and say, "Hey man, it's a nice record." And I didn't know what to do. He was like, "I love your music," and I don't know how to act because I wasn't used to that. But these kids now, this generation knows my music.
That's good.
After all of the struggling and all of the putting forth, Kai Elsie made it possible where now kids come up to me and be like, "Hey man, nice record."
That's good.
So it's like you said, it doesn't happen overnight.
So let's go across the border, or go across the ocean, across the pond, and all of those things. So let's talk about you as an international artist.
Fine.
When, what, the 5 W's. When, what, where, why, and how.
When, what, where, why,
Yeah. In any particular order.
Have to go back to Kai Elsie. I was gigging with Malik. That's my next door neighbor. Malik Austin. I was a little down in the press, and out of nowhere, Kai came, "Hey man, I want to do a record with you." And I'm like, okay. So he started coming over here. Didn't realize he was,
You didn't realize he was Kai Elsie.
Kai Elsie. You know what I'm saying? But he came over here and took me through a process that I really never went through. And at the end, he took the music to another level. He took it somewhere it never would have went. And out of all the people, it's no biggie, but he really took the time to come over here and really dissect my music. Like, change the kick. That clap was not loud enough. Kai Elsie, turn that bass line up. Make the piano a little brighter. Turn your vocals up. And he said, man, you've been doing this for a while. it's time to go up. And after he sat down to talk to me, like a big brother, a captain, it really stuck in. It stuck in my head. I'm like, it's time to do this. But he actually showed me the process. And one of the basic ingredients is you have to practice your sound. If it's a certain bass line you like, you can deviate from it, but kind of stick to it so people will know that's you. And then the second thing is you have to try different things. If you don't sing, you might have to sing. Like I didn't sing a lot, but the song I sang on, that was the one that did it. And I'm like, I'm over here doing instrumentals. That's the one. The one, these words, the one you say. I'm like, oh. Then more companies hit me up. Could you sing on my stuff? I'm like, oh. Yeah. See, you have to get out of your comfort zone. Kai took me out of my comfort zone. So that's where your small success or big success is. Whatever you don't do, you should try to learn it. Like I had to learn a guitar, harmonica. I had to learn these things within the last 3 years.
I saw your clip on Facebook with the harmonica. That was dope shit.
I had to learn it. Because, you're doing...
Can you imagine a brother from the hood on a harmonica? On a house track?
I had to learn it. Because, I was doing a gig and, they'll dance and it's just like this. But then you have to put something to make them go, oh! So that's the harmonica. It changes the dynamics of things. So I had to learn these different instruments to kind of make people a little bit more excited when they dance.
So where are you, so right now your music is overseas.
Yes.
So in what countries, markets, I don't know how do you say countries or do you say markets or are they the same?
UK, a label named Hard Matter Records overseas. Okay. I have some stuff coming out in Amsterdam, Spain.
Okay.
Asia.
Wow.
Germany. It basically, I got what it, after Kai, after that one, the record did hit. People wanted more records like these words, so different labels were calling me. So I had to figure out different formats for them. So they started putting stuff out, simultaneously. So yeah, overseas, it was a deep experience because some people didn't want my music. They just wanted me to sing. Oh. Yeah, some people, we don't want your music. We just want your vocals. And I was like, oh. And one particular individual, I can't really pronounce his name, but dope producer. Oh my God, Nezzer. And he produced me, and when he sent me the masters back, I couldn't believe it.
That was your voice?
Yeah, he took my vocal and processed it and threw it up and splashed it and delayed it. And when I heard the music on top of it, I had to sit there. I couldn't believe it. Skylax Records too. Joseph Skylax overseas. I don't really know where they're from, but they produced me. It came out nice. So I've gotten into the vocal aspect of it too. Some people, I'm just a vocalist. Some people, I'm a musician now, so I'm like two different people.
Okay.
So like Deep 88 in Italy, they're like Mel Kyer, I can't really pronounce his name, but Deep 88 is an individual. They produced me, and it came out nice. They know me more as a vocalist.
Nice.
So that's you may, before it's over, some people may just know me as a harmonica player. On a house track. Mike Huckabee said, you need to play more harmonica on your tracks.
That sure would be
that'd
be fire right there.
Become different people. And Kai LC again, he brought out all of those qualities because none of that was there until he started really coming over here.
Wow.
And I got so excited when I seen him take it to another level. It sparked me.
Nice. Shout out to Kai.
Shout out.
I love running into him over at Detroit.
NDHL Records.
And he's such a cool guy. I think I've been trying to get him on the show for the past 3 years.
Genius.
I've been trying to get him on the show for the past 3 years. And we always say we're going to do it. But you know what? I'm patient, and I know he's very busy. But one thing I do really love about him, he doesn't forget who you are.
He doesn't.
So I met him like once in passing or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the next time I saw him at Threads in passing again, and he knew who I was. So I really appreciate that because somebody on his level.
Oh yeah.
He's cool. Like, what up, though? You know,
Kai, you can see him. I saw him when he invited us to come to 1550. He could be extremely busy. He could have 100 people around him, and you're right. He would be like, "How many people you got?" I mean, he'll know.
I love his glasses.
His
his
cool.
Look, the yellow one, the bright yellow one.
Cool, man.
The bright yellow ones. I think that's what really attracted me to him first was this dude with these bright yellow glasses.
He's a genius. He's
cool
really
as heck.
He's a genius.
Yeah, we love him.
Yeah.
And we appreciate him for taking you and helping you get to the next level. You are In My House, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.
There's a new financial empowerment center located in the Wayne County Treasurer's Office on the 5th floor of 400 Monroe in Detroit.
If you or someone you know needs help with their finances, budgeting, and making monthly payments, the Detroit Financial Empowerment Center can help.
Wayne Metro Community Action Agency has counselors ready to provide free one-on-one counseling to help you address issues related to utility bills, taxes, and other financial matters. We can also help you improve your credit score.
All right, Mr. J. Who is this guy?
It's my man, partner in crime. He calls
You can hang it up now.
He calls himself Dre 10.5.
Dre 10.5.
Dre 10.5.
Dre, get it right.
Dre 10.5.
So what is his role in your production and how did you guys collab, connect? Tell me a little bit of the background and then we'll talk to Dre right quick.
Well, Dre, I met him. We used to dance at the Logger House. I met him at the
You
Logger
was a dancer too?
Yeah, we both are. Still do.
Y'all get down.
House dance.
House, mix it up, some everything.
Oh, okay.
Jit's always in there.
So
Because you're from Detroit.
Yeah. Right. He was more into, we were more into the dancing, and as time progressed, he laid this song called Girl in Front. It was a rock tune, because we do rock on the side too, rock music. And I said, Dre, you're starting to sound pretty good. I mean, first you'd be like, ugh. But after,
he always called me corny.
But after a few years, I said, hey, we need to really do something with you. You don't sound too bad.
Oh, wow.
So now, and then he did a show with me in Chicago, and they liked him.
Nice.
So that's one thing about artists. I give them a chance. So he got out, they liked him. So
nice.
Let's do something.
So Dre, let's talk to you for a second. So musically, how many instruments do you play, or are you new at instrumentals or what?
New.
Okay.
New.
Give us your backstory.
I'm an entertainer clown. Come from comedy, skits, entertainment, just comedy, clowning, doing stage shows at what do you call it? Not the VIP, but the clubs where people throw parties and stuff. Cabarets.
Okay.
There was a group called the Hollywood Swingers. It was a dance comedy mime troupe, and there was a lock comedy mime, and I was a pup then, but that was my beginnings, and it was like a beautiful thing. I didn't think somebody from Columbus, Ohio, could come into something like that and like get paid for it on the weekends. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, cash, girls. You couldn't beat it. I was like, for real? I said, is this real? But I was actually helping one of the guys from a group on the baseball team. He said, you want to come to a show? And I said, I ain't got no money. And he said, you don't need no money. So they called me in. They were doing a mime act skit. And I was just supposed to move the equipment around there. And I'm like, holy cow, what the? And I was just putting the equipment up. And the females come, yo, guys, you're great. I'm like, huh? And then they paid me. I was like, huh? And that was the beginning. So that was the whole, doing that for some years, I got a really chance to work with people.
Yeah.
So then I was going to put my own show together. And I was looking for some music. And the guy that I had started training, he was named Halim Razul. Hardcore Detroit. I was training him to do routines and comedy in stage shows. And he introduced me, he told me to go to Logger House, and that's when I saw him and Steve Miller. I was looking for Malik, the dancer, but I found Javonntte and Steve Miller dancing out there, and I'll let you know how that you see the burning bush and the lights were shining. I was like, that's it, that because I'm still a dancer, right? But I was looking for music, and I found him like, that's it. And so after that, I started hanging around Javonntte. He would take, I'm like going to clubs at 1 o'clock. See, I didn't know Detroit when it was dark. You know, when the Hudson building was holding up the place. He'd be like, I'm like sleeping at the window, walking by. It's late. I'm used to going to clubs around 11 or something. He come in at 1 o'clock talking about you want to go. I guess so. And you know you got to work the next day on a Sunday. And I'm like, it started a whole nother lifestyle. I started seeing stuff that I used to drive past. You see lines like, wait a minute, why are they in line around 2 o'clock at night? You know, in abandoned buildings. I call it abandoned buildings. So
you're originally from Columbus?
Well, California, Columbus, Ohio was my childhood.
Okay.
Then I came here in the.
So you never really experienced industrial environment, so to speak.
Yes, exactly. I was Corn City.
Corn City.
Corn City. That's all I'm gonna say. I was cool in the look, but I was just as corny as you. If you ever talk to me long enough, you know you go, yep, what's up, yep. But if you talk to me long enough, this guy's corny.
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
That's hilarious.
So look, I just wanted to bring you on, and I thank you for sharing your music and sharing a little bit. And I'm gonna keep up with you two.
Okay.
And when y'all get it in and get down, I want the debut. I want to put it out there. You are in my house, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.